is up, boys? This is time for my redemption arc because I didn't post last week. I'm sorry. I'm also sick right now, so this summer's not going well for me, guys. Hopefully, it's going well for you. So, who gets sick during the summer? Like, honestly, you know? So today I come to you with 2 chapters, maybe 3. I don't know. Well, depends on how I feel, how much I'm able to talk. Hopefully your jobs are going well and your summer activities. I would love to know about them, so let me know. I don't even know what happened. Let's see, what did Angie do? Well, Angie and Wang are friends, and they have to go to that burial ceremony for the sister. I think I said this last time too. I think that she's not gonna go. I think she's gonna run away. And maybe that's when the plot starts. I don't know. This book is just really slow. Yeah. So let me see. This chapter, I don't even know what chapter number this is, but it's called Gone Away. Maybe because her sister's gone or she's gone. I don't know. Let's see. The dark cloth concealing the statue of her sister flapped along its edges, teasing a reveal as the bleached ropes restrained it. Reporters filmed B-roll for their local national news stories, 2 of them eager to continue the conversation they had started at the house earlier that morning. The United States Air Force Honor Guard stood at attention near the edge of the crowd after the presentation of the American flag and national anthem. From the elevated platform where Angie sat between Wang and her mother, it was the 2 empty chairs in the front row she had been most fixated on. Marked reserved for her father and his fun new wife, Sharon. Angie's dad, who had assured her by text that he intended to come. No, I don't know that he's coming. Maybe the dad's not even real. Maybe it's a figment of her imagination. The wind picked up. Leaves fluttered down around the 1,000+ people who had gathered. The inescapable yellow ribbons now on jacket lapels and breast pockets punctuated the theme her mother had wanted. Everything down to the plastic cutlery under the red, white, and blue tent had been dipped in some form of yellow, a color Angie wished to be blinded from. I know you're not in English class anymore, but, Curtis is, I guess. The color yellow symbolizes a lot of things. Sometimes it just symbolizes, like, illness and just, like, icky stuff. Like, something's wrong, a disease. Sitting with an oversized American flag behind her and the smell of fried, not-baked chicken from the buffet beneath the tent, Angie wanted to be almost anywhere but sitting there. With the mayor of Dry Falls, an Air Force colonel who knew less about her sister than expected, a senator speaking for the Ohio government, and the Wright Brass Air Force Band, the insufferable sea of eyes capsized Angie's nerves. Her right leg bounced up and down. It was too uncomfortable to be still. She will never be forgotten, said the mayor, a young woman who fearlessly fought for her country and community, saving the lives of her fellow soldiers and those of civilians they had attempted to assist. For us, she was the young woman with an electric and unstoppable dribble, jump shot, and smile, a hero on and off the court. As if all that her sister had been could be reduced to something as paltry as the mayor's descriptors. That was not her sister. That was the idea of her. The mayor finished his overly written speech, shaking hands with the master of ceremonies, Mr. Dover, Chamber of Commerce president. Angie's stomach ached and growled. Her mother had restricted her breakfast, suggesting overeating would cause her to be unfocused. I guess I was wrong. She's actually there. She didn't run away. A logic that confounded Angie as she watched Wang ingest 2 sausage McMuffins with egg, a mocha frappe, and a hash brown. Mr. Dover introduced Carolina Perez, Jr. at William Anders High School, first-string varsity squad member and longtime ally of Stacey Ann Sloan, to read her essay on patriotism and freedom. Carolina, who, with Stacey Ann, had rolled out a series of jokes about Angie's G.I. Joe sister, was now speaking about the value of patriotism and working up a tear for dramatic effect. Yeah, you know what? That would piss me off. Yeah. Hey, if I'm looking at my watch, it's because my kid's supposed to be sleeping right now, and I just got a notification saying she's standing up. So, yeah. Let's see here. Angie's attention swiveled back to the statue. The cloth concealing it moved in such a way that it almost seemed to breathe. Slow, deep inhale, then fast thrusting exhale. Had her sister breathed like that? Held hostage, shaking and crying? The whole ached in Angie. She covered her diaphragm with her arms, annoyed by the black lace dress her mother had forced her to wear. She was certain it made her look like an oversized doily in mourning, not elegant, as her mother had insisted. She was a hero to all of us, Carolina said, an inspiration that redefined patriotism. Thank you. Everyone clapped. As Carolina left the podium, she gave Angie the ever so slightest glance, reminding her that it was all a facade. It was Mean Girl 2.0 as usual. You ready? Wang said, pointing to the program. There, in the fearless black and white of Arial fonts, was Angie's name. Her name was after Carolina's. It was now her turn to... Angie, said Mr. Dover, waving Angie to the podium. Sweet Jesus jumping on a pogo stick. It was the single most dreaded moment of the entire event for Angie. Worse than the yellow ribbons and the phony, overridden speeches, it was her turn to be equally phony. Angie did not like to speak in front of people. Angie did not like her mother nudging her to get up. Angie did feel an immediate and urgent need to pee. Angie approached the podium, overly aware of the platform squeaking as she walked across it, the bottom of her feet, her lower legs, tingling. She tucked herself behind the podium. Breathe, she thought. She stood there staring at the right edge of the printed speech. Dude, she's gonna pass out. Her skin itching from the lace of her ridiculously too tight dress, her pudgy hands crinkled the edges of the paper of her personal narrative about her sister as written by Connie, not Angie. While not good, oh my god, wait, her mother wrote her speech? While not good at the art of numbers, per her mother's assessment, numbers were all that Angie could think of, such as the statistical probability of her sister dying from the flu was about 1 in 70, the odds of her being taken hostage by a foreign terrorist and dying were about 1 in 45,808, and it was not surprising, given the current political climate and the increase in public execution on social media. The probability of an American soldier taken seemed heartbreakingly plausible, even if the mayor and her mother had used the word implausible in each of their speeches. She did not feel like Angie there on the platform. She did not feel like the girl who had been loved by Casey and even earned that coveted spot on the varsity basketball team last year. She felt like Fat Angie, the blob, the cow, the wacko fatso, the shitbag, the dump truck, the everything ugly and horrible that had been said to her or about her. I feel bad for her. Yeah, it's not a nice feeling, poor girl. So there you go. And it's like 0.1 for the author. Now I feel bad for Angie. Fat Angie pulled at the entirely too tight lace dress. She said. Fat Angie's breath was shaky. Her head was light. She saw Coach Layden in the crowd, Coach Layden, who had been disappointed when Angie left the team but still managed to believe in her. She saw Principal Warner, too, who, like her father, referred to Angie as a special girl. She saw some girls from the varsity basketball squad, her Aunt Megan, a guy from math class who did not like math, Jake and Stacy Ann, the two of them standing side by side closely. Angie's heart dismantled. She looked past Jake at the people she did not know, surprised to see Jamboree standing with her parents. While not accurately timed, the moment of looking between them was at least 3.2 seconds. That was it. This was the inevitable moment 6 months in the making, of eyes on Angie, who was supposed to fawn over the overpriced statue of her war-slaughtered sister. An overpriced statue seeming to breathe not 10 feet from her. Was she the only one who had noticed the strangeness of it? Angie's hands squeezed the edges of the paper harder, her palms sweaty. There was no escaping it. My sister, she was an exceptional member of our community. Fat Angie stammered, reading from the paper. She had been the girl next door who fought for the American dream so that we could all rest easy at night, and, this speech is absolute unbelievable bullshit, Fat Angie thought. Her act of heroism spared the lives of her unit and 7 other civilians, earning her the Medal of Honor, Angie continued, while she herself was taken into captivity. A baby began to cry in the audience, a shrill and loud cry. The baby would not be soothed. The mother hurriedly stood and stepped to exit the seated area. Why was that so hard for me to read? The mother hurriedly stood and stepped to exit the seated area. Angie looked back down at her speech. Oh, this is so bad. She continued to be the brave face of every American soldier fighting for our honor. There was a question mark there. Wang knew that the speech was absolute. Oh, sorry. Fat Angie looked to Wang. Wang knew that the speech was absolute bullshit, as evidenced by his expression. Then Fat Angie did what would be remembered as an infraction of the highest magnitude. My sister was scared. If you look at the hostage videos, you see it. She was swaddled in fear. I don't even know why she was there. She'll never turn 20. She'll never go to any of the places she wanted. She'll never laugh again. She had... Mr. Dover approached the microphone. Thank you, Angie, and everyone for sharing your thoughts. Without further ado, let's reveal our town legend with the right brass playing the Air Force's Off We Go. This community sucks. Connie's exchange of looks with Angie was not good. Not by a mile. Not by a billion miles, if there were such a thing. The directions had been simple. Stick to the script. The directions were, in essence, bullshit. The trumpet player emptied his spit valve, and with a nod to the band director, they began their somewhat off-key song. The tear of Velcro along the sides of the cloth, a few tugs of rope, and down the cloth fell, revealing a bronze monstrosity. In some bizarre homage to Two-Face from the Batman movie franchise, half of the statue featured Angie's sister decked in her infamous number 42 jersey, basketball tucked at her elbow. The other half presented her as a soldier complete with helmet, tactical gear, and an assault rifle at her side. On what planet of statue design was the splitting her sister into 2 parts a genuine way to honor the whole of her? From Angie's vantage point, she could not see either of them truly being who her sister was. Yeah, that's kind of creepy and messed up. Yeah, she's still awake. The band stopped playing. 2 more speeches followed, and while her sister had done the brave thing they all mentioned, the saving others, the sacrifice, she had also run away from growing up and telling her mother no. Well, I feel like you don't run away from growing up to join the military, you know? I don't feel like that's true. It was something Angie did not know how to fully reconcile, because in going off to save the world, her sister had left Angie behind. The William Anders High School Band launched into the school fight song as Angie and Wang followed their mother off stage. Angie tried to get out of her couldn't understand mother's sight line, but not quickly enough. Connie pulled Angie close, walking her away from the crowd. I asked you to just read the speech. To read the speech and honor your sister's memory, said Connie. It wasn't me. You didn't want to write what was you, Connie said. I don't understand why you wanted me to say that stuff. What can you not understand based on your panic disorder or PTSD or whatever the weekly diagnosis is? Connie asked. Oh, God. Literally, dude, just worst mother of the year. That's not fair, Angie said. No, what's not fair is what you just did, up there in front of all of those people. And CNN, Angie thought. Historically, this was the moment in a confrontation conversation with Connie when Angie would begin to shrink in place, to feel unbelievably small and insignificant. So it was of no surprise that she felt exactly that way. It merely sucked that she did. Can you ever think of anyone but yourself? Connie asked. Is it necessary to make us the joke of this town? Don't you have that in reverse? Angie said, almost to herself. Connie's squeeze on her daughter's arm was deliberate. Sit down, smile, and show some kind of respect for your sister. Angie knew that it was wrong, but as Connie walked away, she screamed obscenities at her. In her mind, of course. People had streamed into the tent, lining up for the indulgent buffet. As hungry as Angie had been all morning, she could not face any of them. Coach Layden, whom she had avoided all summer, Jake not holding hands with Stacy and the handhold where the fingers stroke the palm but don't commit to a full-on grasp. Wang stood with his poser wannabe more badass than they were friends. Jamboree's parents held up the back of the line, indulging in their cell phones as opposed to each other. Go to sleep, child. Jamboree, however, was looking at Angie. It was an awkward and unexpected moment. Angie's eyes darted toward the sea of quickly filling up tables. Angie walked the perimeter of tables, heading toward her Aunt Megan, her mother's younger, pseudo-liberal sister, sitting alone. Angie sat quietly with a seat between her and her aunt. Her clear plastic cup of lemonade containing 3 ice cubes had created a small but noticeable moat around its base. Her aunt seemed too immersed in her own internal world to notice the falseness of Angie's forced smile. Pinterest lies, Angie, said Aunt Megan. I'm sorry? Pinterest. It lies, her aunt repeated. Angie was familiar with the online platform Pinterest only to the extent that her mother had obsessively referenced it over the summer when redecorating the house. Before I got pregnant, I lived on Pinterest, continued Aunt Megan, creating board after board about baby clothes and baby furniture and baby blogs, what to expect when you're expecting, look what the stork brought in, nothing compares to baby. Those are all books. Pin after pin of quotes and smiling fathers and cute babiness. It was an endless well of wonder and hope, women always smiling. Her aunt took a swallow of her lemonade, the ice cracking together before releasing to the bottom of the cup. 33 hours of labor, Angie, said her aunt. Dude, is this the place to talk about that? They don't put that on Pinterest. 33 hours of pushing and breathing and screaming and sweating and squatting and hurting. I'm not even going to tell you the things that happen to your body down there. Oh, God, please don't. Bro, we are to... Oh, my God. They're like a funeral thing. Her whole family is just messed up. It was a matter of unquestionable fact that Angie hoped she would not. And when you finally have that baby, no one tells you about the placenta. Do you know about the placenta, Angie? You guys probably don't know about the placenta, so... I donated mine. From Angie's expression, she did not, nor did she have any specific interest in knowing. She hoped to suggest this with her nonverbal cues. She did not succeed. Yeah, I didn't either, said her aunt. Placenta's like birthing another baby. See, you've already gone through 33 hours of hellish labor, and then you're back to pushing and sweating and screaming, if you can still scream. And then this thing that looks like angry cabbage comes out of you. Should we just take a pause? Just the imagery, yeah. I can't even think about cabbage without having this urge to vomit, her aunt said. Neither would Angie. Thankfully, it was not a preferred vegetable. She preferred Brussels sprouts. And you come home and your husband stays for a few days, her aunt said. Then he goes back to work, and there you are, Angie, alone, all day, every day, and the baby cries in the middle of the night, and your husband says, can you make a baby stop crying? I have to go to work. Like your job isn't work? You have to make sure the baby doesn't die. Once they begin to crawl, walk, the entire house is a war zone of sharp edges and unprotected electric sockets. Pinterest lies. This woman is traumatized by motherhood, and you know what, guys? I get it. Yeah. This house is a war zone. Yeah. Angie was story shocked by much of the narrative, especially given the urgency and excitement her aunt previously had about having a child. Given the full sheet of cake at her baby shower with the image of her fetus on it. Oh, it's that aunt! A disgusting memory for Angie, who had vomited her piece of the cake, but her Aunt Megan had loved the cake so dearly, every last bite. But, Angie said, you liked your cake at the baby shower with the fetus, the ultrasound picture thing? You liked it so much. That's not what you say, Angie. Her aunt leaned into her. Angie tilted her head forward, expecting a sacred secret of some kind, perhaps one of the less graphic ones. Never have a baby because you think it's cute, Angie, not even if it's cute on a cake. That is sound advice. Don't do that. Her aunt gently rubbed Angie's arms. Angie nodded even though she had no interest in having a baby. She would forever see cabbage, though. Very angry cabbage. Excuse me, said a man, tapping Angie on the shoulder. Angie turned toward an Air Force officer. Angie, the officer said. Hello, Angie said. Staff Sergeant Hernandez, he said, holding out his hand. Rudy. She shook his hand. May I speak with you for a moment? Sure, okay, Angie said. It took Angie approximately 4.2 seconds to realize he meant in private. Duh, dude. She quickly stood and followed him away from William Anders High School's band's rendition of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance. An odd choice for a post-statue dedication song, it seemed to Angie. It's just, this is a train wreck. I've heard a lot about you, says Sergeant Hernandez. Your sister became one of the most trusted friends, and oh my god, no, what? I read ahead. He stopped walking. That's not true, he said. We were engaged. Ooh. R.I.P. Angie's eyes widened. And what? Angie said. We didn't tell anyone. She wanted to tell you first in person, not on Skype or in an email. She wanted to tell you, but then, yeah. He clenched his jaw, clearing his throat, trying to find his composure. She was taken, and then everything else happened. Excuse me. He looked up at the statue of Angie's sister. That's a really ugly statue, he said. Angie laughed. Yeah, it is. She would have hated it, he said. Angie nodded. Yeah, she would have. He grinned. She would have hated a lot of things about all of this. She didn't like attention, you know. No, Angie said, that's all she had here. The quiet hung between them for a few moments, the way quiet does when there were so many things to say but no sure way to say them. Angie wanted to ask him how they met. Where did they go on their first date? Did her sister still love Pink, Joan Jett, and Prince the way she had in high school? But because if anyone knew about her, it was him. But Angie just stood there with the questions ruminating, waiting for him to say something because he seemed to want to. You and your brother meant everything to her, he said. She talked about you all the time. She said you were a son even though you felt like a shadow. Oh, that's nice and poetic. You were a son even though you felt like a shadow. Child, go to sleep. That you didn't get how special you were. I used to feel that way too, until I met her. It's like she's just reflected back all the good things I couldn't see in myself. He went somewhere else for a moment, somewhere that hurt him specifically, so precisely. Angie knew that hurt. She missed watching kung fu movies with you and your brother, he said, and eating popcorn with M&Ms. Angie laughed, a tear escaping. She'd eat all of the M&Ms. I know, he said, now crying. Except the yellow ones, Angie said. Because she really hated yellow anything, he said. They wiped their faces. I've wanted to come and talk to you for so long, he said, looking at her wrists. When I heard about what happened, I just didn't know if it was the right time. I didn't know if I should tell you about her and me, and I've truly wrestled with what to do, but... He reached inside his uniform jacket pocket and emerged with an envelope. He held it out to her. There, on a crinkled and dirt-smudged envelope, was Angie's name and address in her sister's handwriting. Somehow, Angie had forgotten how her sister wrote her sevens. Her nines, the shape of the A in Angie, how she had already forgotten that. How had she already forgotten that? Hey guys, my kid's still awake. It's 1:32 and I put her to bed 32 minutes ago. So, yeah. His eyes, no, wait, where am I? The night before she went out, when she ended up being captured, she wrote that. She asked me to mail it, but then things happened and His eyes fell to her wrists again. This time she self-consciously turned them toward her. It's not that it's bad what she wrote. She read it to me. I didn't know if it would hurt you more. When I came here today hoping I would know, and seeing you up there, I did. Angie looked down at the letter. The hole inside her grew. It grew in a new place as if it had metastasized. Could the hole do that? Spread? I'm sorry if I should have mailed it, he said. I don't know really what to say, Angie said. Thanks. They half smiled at each other. You could read it, he said. Angie exhaled a deep breath. Yeah, okay. Angie carefully opened the envelope. Inside there was a letter and a smaller than average rectangular postcard. The outside of the letter said, read this first. Read this first, and there's a smiley face. Hey, Ange. So Angie did. Hey, Ange. Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you aren't still mad at me. Really sorry for what I did. How I said it. It was stupid dumb. Anyway, I hope you're kicking ass in high school. Maybe going out for the team because your rebounds are killer? Coach Layden loves a killer rebound almost as much as a killer jump shot. So keep working on that jump shot. Flick and follow through. Always follow through, Ange. So, ... I got a letter from Wang a few days ago. He said things are getting messy between mom and dad with the divorce. Said you weren't doing so well with it. That's got nothing to do with you. Mom and Dad's mess. Seriously, you got to hear me out on this because it took me enlisting and ending up over here to figure that out. But I'm here now, and I got to make the best of it because I believe being here means something, even if things are harder than I thought they would be. It's definitely not like playing Call of Duty. You can't just save your game and go do something else. It's real all the time here. Real lives, real fear, real people sometimes dying. The dying part, it's hard. But sometimes there is real hope. And it's something you can see, almost multiplying. That's what I hold on to when I feel lost. The hope. Listen, I'll be back soon. I'll be back there soon. I can't wait to hang out. Wait is capitalized. To hang out with you and Wang and drink a frothy slap me I dare you latte from the Pack Story. And after we have a Bruce Lee movie marathon, you and I are going to go on a road trip. Just you and me and the Buckeye State. There's no backing out of it this time, okay? Besides, I have something really amazing, capitalized, to tell you. It's part of the hope thing, and the only way I can tell you first, before anyone else, is if you come with me. And I want to tell you first, Ange. So, just to get you ready for our adventure, I've prepared an introductory list of things for us to see/do on the postcard. Don't panic. I'll be there every mile of the journey with you. Yeah, this hurts, man. Hey, I need to go. I miss you to infinity and beyond times pi. Give Wang a hug for me and look out for him. He's a lot softer than he seems. He loves you more than he'll ever let on. It's a guy thing, I think. Hope to hear from you soon. Remember, follow through. It's always about the follow through. And kindness. Love, N. This is a long chapter. Tears streamed down Angie's face. Her throat constricted as she wiped them away from the back of her hand. You okay? Staff Sergeant Hernandez asked her. She nodded, but she was not okay. She stared at the white font and red background postcard in her hand that held the phrase, "Why not?" Angie flipped the postcard over and read the intimidating road trip suggestion list her sister had planned. Roller skate to Blue Ashes Abracadabra at Brook Park Skateland. Dance on America's shortest street. Sing a song with a band in front of an audience. Have a picnic at the world's largest basket. Number 5 is blank, and it says Angie's choice. Angie did not roller skate. Angie definitely did not dance in front of people. It was not a list of do's. It was a list of impossible. A list that would never happen because her sister had never made it back. Angie looked blankly at Staff Sergeant Hernandez. She really wanted to do all of those things with you, he said. She had lists and lists of things she wanted the two of us to do. Things she wanted to see on her own. But that letter, those things, it had meant everything to her because you did. You meant everything to her, Angie. And Angie felt the deepest of conflicting feelings. The hurt from her sister never making it home, the anger Angie still felt. How could such a duality exist? Were the 5-7 stages of grief a mere hoax? She did not follow the suggested order of operation. The postcard in Angie's hands outlined a road trip that would have been another disappointment to her sister had she returned, because Angie was afraid to almost everything. This was not a description she would ever use lightly. Short list of things she feared. Heights, germs, tornadoes, public restrooms, eating in front of people, being lost, people looking at her, driving a car, dancing in front of people, talking to people, making wrong decisions, ants, making too much noise when kissing someone, not having candy. Oh, girl. I mean, yeah, I get it, tornadoes. Those are scary. From his pocket, Staff Sergeant Hernandez pulled a piece of paper with the Holiday Inn Express logo on it, on top. That's my email and cell, he said as Angie read, and where I'm stationed for the next 6 months. Let me know if you need anything. And, he reached beneath his collar and unfastened a necklace clasp. Pulling from beneath his shirt, Angie's sister's most prized possession, her pendant from when she made varsity freshman year. Her sister never took it off. She'd want you to have this, he said. The pendant dangled in front of Angie, almost whispering. He stepped behind her and fastened it around her neck. The weight of everything the pendant had meant to her sister hung heavy. I should probably let you get back. Thanks. Thank you for the letter. He grinned and pulled Angie into a hug, the whole time an estimated 4.7 seconds, and she did not entirely mind the hug. She often minded hugs from people she did not know. Maybe it was because it was almost like hugging her sister. Almost. When he stepped back, his eyes were full of hurt. Take care, Angie, he said. Angie watched him weave through a crowd of people near the park's entrance. He crossed the street and disappeared around the corner of the Pizza Gallery. Right then, something shifted inside of her. Only she did not know what it was. It was a feeling with no adjective. Wang waved Angie over to Aunt Megan's table. As she got closer, she saw he had 2 plates of food, one with cabbage. I'm gonna stop right there because that was a long chapter, but mostly I need to see if my kid will fall asleep. I'm gonna try to post the next chapter right after. It's fairly short actually, so sorry about that. Let me know what you think. And if you're still watching or hear about this, so that'd be pretty cool. Before I leave, you can look at Cooper. Yay! Hi, Coops. Hi, buddy. All right. Bye-bye.